We all know the Vikings. Big, strong, ferocious killers who are usually tripping on mushrooms, who are known for their cruelty when they go raiding. Now, not all Vikings went raiding simply just for shits and giggles because they wanted to
clench their blood first.
They did it because it was economical to support the family they had back home. And, to get away from their wife and go drinking with the boys. In today's story, we'll take focus on a quirky character who goes by the nickname of
Olvir the babylover.
So you may rightfully ask, oh no, how did he get such a strange nickname? And to answer that, you simply have to look into the Viking culture of nicknaming their fellow bros and kind of making fun of them in the same time, even though they may have been ferocious murderers. After all, the most famous Viking throughout Viking history has been Ragnar Lothbrok, literally meaning hairy breeches, and his son, Ivar the Boneless, Harald Fairhair, Ulrich the Skull Drinker, and Harald Bluetooth.
Oh, look, Ivan, that is my sister, Olga Night Screamer.
Why did they call her that?
Because she always screams when I'm trying to sleep at night.
Olvir was bullied by his fellow raiders, but it wasn't due to his midnight shenanigans, but because he was out to spoil the fun for his fellow raiders, as Vikings tended to hold these strange competitions where they would gather all the children from the conquered village, throw them into the air, chuck spears and axes at them, place bet on themselves as the greatest warrior around, and the ones who killed most kids or scored the most hits would be crowned the
greatest warrior amongst them.
To kill innocent, defenseless children. Sure. As Olvir put a stop to these shenanigans by either sheer will of force or just constant complaining, he earned the nickname of
the babylover.
Since it was such a normal thing for the Vikings to do, to just indiscriminately kill children, that they thought that they were in the right, and that he was just spoiling the fun for them. They started calling him names like, oh, little baby lover. Oh, you love these children, don't you? Oh, you little boy. Oh, you protect the children, huh? But strangely enough, he wasn't this beacon of light shining in the darkness. Olvir was still a Viking. And Vikings do two things. They plunder and they kill. So even though he did not partake in the slaughter of kids, he had no qualms about making them his slaves on his homestead back home. So he filled his seats up on the ships with nothing but young children, which must have given a pretty bad look from his other fellow raiders. But let's be fair, they didn't give a fuck. I mean, they were planning on killing them anyway, so I don't think they cared much about what he was up to with them. And what he ended up doing with them on his homestead remains to be in speculation, as there were no ever recorded instances afterwards of what those kids grew up to be, if they grew up to be slaves, or if they grew up to be warriors or adopted children of his. There's a good chance that his legacy was first written down 400 years after he lived, and the only mention of him in these historical notes are from an Icelandic website and a few mentions in documentary praising him for not impaling children with his spears like his fellow Vikings did. Who knows? If he had ever converted to Christianity, he might have become the patron saint of children. I'm sure that Saint Nicholas wouldn't mind giving that up, considering that he's already the saint for like 10 other things somewhere. Oh, Santa Claus. Wouldn't it have been nice that instead when you sat on his lap, he would also wield a fucking huge axe and scream, "I will drink from your skull!" Meanwhile, patting your child gently on the head and wishing them a Merry Christmas. And if they misbehave, instead of getting cold, they will get beheaded. Yeah, don't kill kids, don't steal kids, don't make forced adoptions upon kids, don't put a bunch of them in your basement and force them to do slave labor for you. Well, until next time, have a good one. Hey! Hey! Get the fuck back there! Get the fuck in! Yeah, so whenever you think of a Viking, please think about Olvir the babylover. Because even a kidnapper can have good morals. Thanks for watching.